Page 2, Gypsy Dance from the opera Carmen. 3/4 time, there's one flat in the key signature. We are either in F major or D minor. We just got to figure out which. Really, the ultimate test is to listen to the piece and the harmony, and you can tell if it's an F or D because they sound different. However, we can also look at the end. The last chord is here. It's a D major chord. It's quite common for a piece that's in minor to end with a major chord, because this is not in D major. D major has two sharps. We're ending in D major, which is the parallel major to D minor, so I'm guessing this is in D minor. This idea of ending on a major chord like this, when it's in minor, it's called a Picardy third, where they take the third is here, the third of the chord is here. It's got a root, 3 and 5. Third of the chord is here, and they simply take it up a half step. It's called a Picardy third. That's what's going on. In case you're interested, doesn't affect how you play it, you just play the notes. Left hand, you got this. This is good practice. Here. I'm rotating here. Boom. And right now, when I approach a piece of music, I play everything connected. I'll do the articulation later. So I'm just rotating, bump, bump, bump. It's a small movement, and it's the whole arm that rotates. It's not just the hand. I guess you can't rotate the hand without rotating the arm. They're fastened to one another. And that's all that is throughout, for the most part. I mean, sometimes you get different notes, like last couple lines on page 2, the end of the next to the last line, B flats, and then naturals, and then the last line you get some G's. So it changes the notes, but really that's all we're doing here. The right hand, make sure you play these rests. So when the third measure, right here, go. I'm assuming you can read the notes and you can read the rhythms. I don't have to spoon feed this to you. You can do this. And when you first start this, I encourage you to do it one hand at a time to make sure your fingerings are okay. I have some suggestions on fingerings. But to shorten the video, I'm going to take both hands at once, and I'll just kind of talk of whichever hand needs talking at when I get there. And it's here, third measure here. That note is by itself. At the end of the first line, that note is tied. Hang on to it so it's there. That's tied. Come down. The finger. 4. We want to connect all that. 3. And on these third line, I suggest you do a 1-2-1-2. Just alternate. There, just make sure your fourth finger. And 4, 3, and again a 1-2. Now here, if they want third finger, so you're in position, that's fine, okay. Now, if you don't want your hand up in here, you got to use second finger. I'll leave that up to you. It depends on how big your hands are and how fat your fingers are. But if you can fit up in here, go ahead and do the fingering in the book. This last line there on page 2 is here. Well, you're getting the idea, I hope. Let's go up to the top of page 3. You're here. And they want you to go here, here, 3, I go 2, B natural, thumb. So I connect all that. I don't like this idea of here to here. So what I'm going to do is, rather than play that note with second finger I'm playing with thumb. See, at the end of page 2, you're here, but I'm just going to put thumb there. Then I'm going to cross over with 2. There, that's the only difference. So the first measure on page 3 is a thumb, and cross over for 2, and then a 3, and then now we're back to their fingering. That's what I recommend. And going on, then that fourth measure is a F sharp, B flat, D. Sounds wonderful, don't it? See, don't forget the A sharp, and it's a B natural. It's F, A flat, D flat. And going on, it's a D sharp, F sharp, B. You can use that fingering or that fingering, 2, 3, 5. Again, it depends on how big your hands are. And they want you to go here. That's fine. If it fits, go for it. If not, then you can do here. Just reach down. 3, 1. Whichever fingering, you decide on the fingering you want and then stick with it. So, the last 2 measures of the second line is here, here. And here in the third line, to the third measure, you got to come up. There's no real easy way to do this because of the chord. You just got to lift up and move. It's like, wow, we're in D major now? Really? Okay. I use a 4 here for the next measure. The F, A flat, D flat. Lost. Page 3, third line down, last 2 measures. It's an F, A flat, D. I use a 4 here because I need the 5th finger here. But you can use 5th if you want. I just don't like doing it. It's C sharp, B natural. And come over. Again, I would prefer 4 finger on that. This 4th line down on the D sharp, F sharp, because that way my little finger's available. I might do the first one with 5, but then I'm going to do 4 on the others. Or 4 on all of them. C sharp, B natural. And then cross over thumb. See? If you've been doing the scales like you're supposed to, this sort of thing is easy. These passages they just happen because you've been doing it with the scales. The notes might be different, but the feeling is the same. And I stay here. They want you to do it too. I stay right there. I can do them all in that position. I see nothing wrong with it. It sounds weird because of the B flat. I want to do a B natural. That sounds natural, but there's no natural sign there. So unless it's an error, that's a B flat. And then the last 2 chords, here is A, E, G, here. That's sort of the notes and rhythms and fingering. I went through it pretty quick, but you can watch that more than once if you need to. Work it out one hand at a time until you're comfortable with the fingerings and all. And try and play it all as connected as you can. You can't because of the way the arrangement's done, but do the best you can. Then go back through and you can go slow. These 8th notes must be even all the way through. A regular pulse, no hesitations anywhere. And then we'll see about the staccato, the articulation. Staccatos, accents, all the slurs. It's bump, 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 bump. I'm just kind of here. Short. Same thing in the right hand. I'm going to do this here. And second line, connect, staccato. At the same time. accent. Third line down, accent. Give it a little extra. And these, just play them. I don't care how short they are, just play them. Because this is still short. Accent. So you put in the accents and the staccatos. You can see them as well as I can. The accents really help, so make sure you give them extra oomph on those. I mean, you have natural accents in music anyway, so you know the first beat of every measure, you want to hear that. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1. You feel that. Just let it happen. But the accents that are in here are stronger than that. You force those a little bit. For instance, over on page 3, third line down, second measure, you hear accent. Accent. So put in the accents too. At the end, they give you staccatos and accents. I disagree with that, but I'll come back to that in a minute. Dynamics, soft. Do the best you can with the soft, because when that's soft, and this has to go down to very soft. We want to hear the right hand throughout, and you're staying there more or less. The fourth line, you got swells. And you come up to about a moderately soft to moderately loud, and moderately soft's good enough for the last two measures of the fourth line. The accents will be a very moderately loud then. That left hand's got to stay in the background. When you get to the top of page 3, you're going to crescendo up to loud. But I suggest you start page 3 somewhere around moderately soft. And you're going to get louder. Just each beat, louder, there, like so. There's a molto ritardando there. I'll come back to that. That has to do with tempo, and I'll get to tempo in a minute. So here it's just. Now come down with this. Well, you come down automatically. Just let the left hand, make sure the left hand comes down, because you should be in the background with the left hand, but you can still get a little softer. And then go back up to loud. Come down. So each one of these, you go to here and then come back down. Each one of these is the same thing. And that swelling, that just continues throughout until you get down to the last two lines. Now the last line, you're going to go up to very loud here. Well, you can't crescendo on a note in piano once you played it. You just played it, you're done. This, you're sort of moderately soft in here, go up to loud. If you can go up to very loud, that's fine, since you can't do it in the right hand. Here, and then this part, the last two chords, I don't agree with their markings here. Let's talk about this. You have staccatos is fine. They're fortissimo already. FF, very loud already, both hands. Because there's no melody here, it's just blah. But they've added a sforzando on the next to the last one. I disagree with that. And they've added accents. And I said, give me a break. When you get to fortissimo in piano, you don't need accents. I see no point in them. An accent makes it louder. We're already fortissimo. Good grief, give me a break. It's just play them loud, very loud. The sforzando, as far as I'm concerned, should be on the last chord, not the next to the last chord, because we want that feeling of to here. It's over here at the end. We don't want to go to here. That's backwards. So move the sforzando over under the last chord instead of that one. Then finally, when you get a handle on all that mess, you can think about the speed. And hopefully until then you've been going slow. I go a little fast because these videos last forever. Vivace, they say, means lively. To me, it simply means very fast. It's faster than allegro. So I guess if you're going to be lively, be really fast about it. But it's got to be accurate. So it's got to be your vivace, not mine. And if you listen to the recordings of the orchestras playing this, some of them really go super vivace. But it's still got to be accurate. How fast can you play these 8th note or these 16th note passages? And wherever they are. Wherever they are. Wherever they are, how fast can you play those accurately? And that is going to tell you how fast your vivace is. The whole thing needs to be pretty much at one speed until you get to the top of page 3. There is a molto ritardando there. Molto means a whole lot. Ritardando means slow down. Put them together and you got a big slowdown here. So you and you're building up and getting louder and slowing down, and oh boy, and then the bubble bursts and you take off again. All tempo means go for it. Back where you were. So you're just slowing down. As far as technique goes, if you want to continue doing staccato in the left hand, there at the top of page 3, starting with the 3rd major, that's fine with me. They're not marked staccato, which is okay, because they've added pedal. And the pedal is going to cover up the staccato effect. But you can still do the technique. I mean, you've been doing it all along on page 2. You just as well continue it. I mean, why suddenly change the technique? To me, that slows it down a little if you do it that way. I would keep the staccato in the left hand going, even though you can't hear staccato, because the pedal's going to cover it up. Speaking of pedal, it's pretty straightforward. You don't use it on page 2. We want the staccatos and things going on there. But we're getting really, really exciting here once we get up to this part. So we're adding that. It's going to add the overtones. And it's going to make it a little bit blurry. But this piece is so fast, the blurriness goes by so quick. So go ahead and pedal it like they're showing. You don't pedal the last 2 chords, although you can. I'll show you what you can do with that. It's going to be overlapping pedal and lag pedal like we've always been doing. You notes first and then the pedal. Change the pedal after you play the notes. All the way through. I don't really like it, but that's what they've said. Okay, now those last 2 chords here. I've had overtones throughout this whole page. I don't see why the last 2 chords have to be dry. If anything, they're the climate, here we are. So what we do is we pedal them. The pedal goes down with the hands and it comes up with the hands. It's a staccato pedal here. And that gives the overtones just for an instant, but it changes the tone here and here. The tone is different. Now I'm talking acoustic pianos. You have to experiment on an electronic. If it doesn't change the tone on the electronic, there's no point in doing it. Except for the exercise maybe, because maybe you'll play this piece on an acoustic piano somewhere. You never know.